Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. I make videos about dyeing, sewing, and upcycling. If that sounds like something you're into, be sure to hit the subscribe button. Today I'm going to be making a galaxy t-shirt with confetti dyeing. But first, before we get into the video, be sure to give this video a big thumbs up. It does wonders for my channel. Before I get into the process, I'm going to list the supplies that I used for this shirt. They are linked down in the description below. First, I used a pre-washed cotton t-shirt. I also used a plastic tray to mix up my soda ash solution. I used washable glue, drop cloths. I used the Pro Chem dye kit for this one. I also used a dust mask to wear when I'm working with the powdered dyes. Next, I used a variety of plastic bags and a spray bottle with water in it, gloves to protect my hands, and center pole for washing my t-shirt. First, I've put my plastic drop cloth down and I'm going to cut the end of my black plastic bag so that I can make it perfectly square. I'm going to put my t-shirt on top of this plastic bag and then later roll it up, so that's why I want it to be square. Here's my t-shirt that I've been soaking in my soda ash solution. I'm going to wring it out and put it onto my plastic bag as flat as I can. I'm going to smooth out my damp t-shirt and get it ready for the next steps. So I have my Pro Chem dye and I also have my washable glue. I'm going to do some dots on my t-shirt just to kind of give it a little bit of dimension. I love using this washable glue with dyeing, and I wanted to see how it would turn out with this confetti dyeing technique. I did another confetti dyeing tutorial a while back on my channel. I'll link it in the description down below for you if you want to see. It's a really fun technique, and when you're using a wet t-shirt, it splits really nicely. For this t-shirt, I wanted to experiment with the glue and see how it turns out. I did not let it dry completely, and I worked with the wet glue, which kind of sucked in some of the dye and gave it a little bit different look than when you let it dry completely. In the future, I think I will try using this technique and letting it dry completely and see how that works. But for the wet glue, it did have a very interesting effect when I put the dye on top of the wet glue. So I'm going to come in with my Pro Chem powdered dyes. I'm wearing my mask and I'm starting out with the purple. I want to give this shirt a galaxy look, so I'm kind of going slow and just making a trail of color, and I'm going to come in with other colors. So I'm just going lightly with the dye because it does have a tendency to spread. So I made sort of a trail of purple down the center of the shirt. I'm wiping off my hands in between colors because I don't want to get the dye into the other colors. I don't want to get the purple into the next color. So I'm just making sure my hands are really clean. In my other confetti dye video, I used a mesh strainer to kind of sprinkle the dye. But for this one, I just wanted to use my hands. I feel like I have a little bit more control, and I can just pick up really tiny bits of dye and sprinkle it really carefully. So I'm coming in next with the black. And I'm going all over. I'm going kind of in the negative spaces where I did not put the purple. I wanted to have a lot of black because it is a galaxy and space is mostly black. So again, I'm going to wipe off my hands and just make sure they're nice and clean before I go to the next color. Next, I'm going to come in with the blue. This is a great little kit that I love working with. I've done multiple projects with this kit, and it's linked down in the description below in case you're interested in getting it. I have done multiple videos with the colors from this kit, and it comes with soda ash and also Synthropol, so it's a great value and you can do a lot of projects with it. This is just the classic colors, and I've done multiple incline dyeing videos and different projects with these colors, and I just really think it's an awesome value. Like I always say, you can always add more dye, but you can't take it away. So I'm just going to kind of fill in the edges, any white spots that I want to add more dye to, and just sort of look at it and carefully add more dye. If you're interested in learning more about dyeing, I would encourage you to go to my website and check out my online dyeing workshops. I have multiple workshops, and I teach live online workshops, and also I have workshops that you can take at any time. You can sign up for my mailing list so that you never miss a new date or a new class announcement. Here's a close-up of the shirt after it's been sitting for about half an hour. You can see the dye has really started to bleed and is starting to really get that galaxy look. I'm coming in with a spray bottle to just get it to bleed a little bit more. I'm spraying it very lightly. You can spray it more if you want it to bleed more, but it's up to you. After I spray it, I'm going to let it sit overnight. All right, so it's been sitting overnight, and I think that it looks really cool. I'm going to turn it over and do the same thing on the back. So let's see, you can see what it looks like. So it kind of comes through on the back, but not really. So what I'm going to do is try to achieve something similar on the back. It doesn't have to be perfectly the same, but I want to turn it over and put some more dye on the back. The shirt is slightly damp still, so I'm going to put a piece of plastic in between the front and the back of the t-shirt and kind of try to pull it through the sleeves as best as I can. I just want to make sure that I don't get the front double dyed and the back only dyed one time. So I'm just going to carefully smooth it out as best as I can and turn it over. So next I'm going to come in with a spray bottle and just re-wet the whole t-shirt on the back. It's really important that the fabric is wet to get those splits. So I'm just really making sure that the fabric has quite a lot of moisture. And I'm going to just clean up the sides of my workspace. I'm going to apply the dye again by sprinkling it. I'm starting out with the blue this time on the back, and I'm just carefully sprinkling it where there is a lot of white space. And I'm just going to continue adding the colors just like I did on the front. Next I'm doing purple, and I'm making sure to get plenty of dye on the edges because it's going to be three-dimensional when you're wearing it, and I don't want it to have big white lines down the side seams and the shoulder seams. And again, I'm just making sure to keep my hands really tidy so that I don't contaminate the containers of dye as I go. I could have used a spoon, I'm sure, but I think that using my fingers gives me a lot of control with this technique. And next I'm coming in with the black. I'm just doing a light overall dusting with the black just to kind of match the front. All right, so here it is on the back, and it's really starting to spread, and I think it looks really cool. So what I'm gonna do is actually just fold this up and kind of like roll it like a burrito and let it just kind of hang out in there. So this has been sitting overnight. And I'm gonna just sort of open it up. Ooh, and see. I'm glad there's still some white in there because that's what I was worried about, moving it too much. Oh wow, look at the back. Wow. That is really cool. I mean, it really does look like galaxies. Oh, cool. So I'm gonna take this and start to rinse it. Next, that is the next step, and it's gonna need a lot of rinsing because it has kind of a lot of dye on it. So gonna take this to my sink and start to rinse it. So first I gave this shirt a quick rinse with cold, and I like to rinse in these plastic trays because it uses a little less water. And next I'm going to get the water nice and hot and put Synthropol in there and just agitate it as much as I can until the water runs clear. After I wash it by hand first, I'll put it in the washing machine and I'll wash it on hot with Synthropol, and then I'll dry it on hot to set the dye. So here is the front of the shirt after it's been completely washed and dried. And let me zoom in a little bit so you can see more of the speckling. You can see where I put the glue. It has little blobs, and I feel like they look like little black holes or something in the galaxy because they sort of sucked the dye in and made it absorb into the fabric differently than on the parts with no glue. Here's how the back turned out, and the dye really bled a lot and it was very directional. You can see the parts where I put the glue were a little bit more dried when I did the back, so the dye went around the circular places where it had sort of dried, and it gave the shirt, the pattern, a little bit more of a direction, which I think is really beautiful. So anyway, overall I'm really happy with this galaxy shirt. I think it looks totally 3D and amazing. Let me know how you guys have done your galaxy shirt and what kind of dyes you like to use. I'm always curious to know. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Be sure to go and follow me on social medias at Onyx Art Studios and check out my online dyeing workshops. You can get more information on my website, onyxartstudio.com. If you like this video, here are some other videos that I think you might enjoy if you're looking for some inspiration. I did a slightly different galaxy t-shirt design, and I also have done another confetti dye tutorial. So go and check those out if you enjoyed this video. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Bye!